Hello, folks. We are live. How's everyone doing? Welcome. We're here. It's the 2025 National Open. I'm doing commentary on this tournament for the final 6 rounds, starting with this one. It's actually right in the middle of the round, so we got, I'm sure, plenty of games to look at. But yeah, we are here live from Vegas, from the Flamingo Hotel and Resort. Hence the layout. I tried to make it flamingo flavored. And yeah, actually this game here is our board 1 game, I believe, with Grandmaster Zhaojin Chao playing black. And actually let me get our game up. Here we go. Alrighty, so who's in the chat? We had Sam Turley, Barely, 1800, Cabbage. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And let me see if I can. Okay. So yeah, Zhaojin Chao 2.5 playing against Gabriel Flom with 3 points. And actually, we got a number of games that are live. Got some streamers playing. So it'll be pretty fun tournament. It's a 9-round open event. Should probably have some info in the chat. Time control is 90 plus 30. And lots and lots of prize money on the line. Let me write it in the chat. 9 rounds, 90 plus 30. Whoops, that wasn't. Okay, that was that. So, we have a King's Indian here. Actually, let's go back through the game. And we'll just see how this one came to fruition. So, classic King's Indian. Knight a6, castles, e5, bishop e3, c6. All very thematic stuff here. So black gives up a lot of space, and white has many ways to kind of play this position, but decides to just keep the tension in the center, c6, and now white closes things up with d5. Black goes knight g4, attacking the bishop, bishop g5, f6, bishop drops back, c5, and now we just get a very, very blocked position. I've actually played this structure a number of times myself, and yeah, it's quite complicated because both sides are kind of slower on their play. But in general, I found that black is typically pretty all right in these positions because you always have some kind of counterplay to play for. And white can get b4 in, but the c5 square is very nicely defended. So bishop d3, king h8, queen c2. Oh, and Zhao pushes f4. I mean, I guess he provoked him. You know, the dude played queen c2. What else is black going to do? But a lot of times black likes keeping the tension here because it kind of gives them more options with the counterplay with knight to g5 and stuff. And sometimes maybe you want to take on e4 and open the f-file. But when you push f4, that's a sign that says my attack is faster than yours. Because like g5, g4 is pretty slow, but black is saying like, well, white's play is even slower. So that's a big commitment with f4. Knight b5. Now f4, of course, is like very typical in a lot of King's Indian lines, but in these structures, actually, it's considered actually quite a commitment. Although black also has this plan bishop g5, bishop h4. That's pretty solid. Okay, knight b5, bishop g5. There we go. But bishop f6. Okay, so he doesn't go bishop h4. Maybe he was afraid of some knight takes d6 at some point, although I don't really see how it's working right away. So here, knight b3, g5, now black is, okay, so he just wanted to reposition his bishop, and now he's going g5 and h5 and pushing g4. Queen c8, and white takes, knight takes, pawn takes, queen d3, rook g8. It feels like black is just nicely building up here. Rook c1. I guess white is saying he's not so afraid of g4, but To me, it looks like black is definitely getting somewhere. Am I watching one of the students? No, this is actually just this is I think one of the top boards in the event, and yeah, really interesting position. I mean, I guess like if black is pushes g4, which he totally has the right to do, I think white's idea is going to be to take and then take with the light squared bishop to force black to part ways with it. Actually, sorry, let's do this more accurately. Maybe takes with the pawn, bishop take, because if you take, queen takes actually is kind of annoying. Like there's no nice way to defend the mate. So maybe I think white wants to do something like this, like to keep the light squares. But knight g5. Okay, d6 is hanging, so it's not so, definitely not so simple. But it does kind of feel like black has achieved what they want here. Yeah, Grandmaster Zhao Jinchao. I've played Zhao actually a couple times, and he's given me some very nice lessons over the board. So this is the live position here after rook c1. So he's thinking about whether to break with g4 or to somehow continue building up, because he doesn't necessarily have to do it right away. The bummer for black is because the d pawn is hanging, it's hard to, like, you really want this knight to jump out to g5, because then it's very strong. So, I mean, and it doesn't look like white is actually doing a whole lot here with rook c1. So like maybe black can even afford a time, like a tempo for bishop e7, just to like cover the d6 pawn extra, and then you would have more freedom to move around with your pieces. I'm not sure. These positions are, oh, he can also throw an a6, by the way, and then the knight wouldn't be so bothersome on b5. The thing about this knight on b5 is that it's kind of annoying, but it also gets in white's way, because now white can't jump on the b file. So if you play a6, you're getting rid of the knight, but you also you give white the b6 square. So then white suddenly has like other ideas that they can use. So these positions are not so easy. Okay, folks, I'm gonna try to look around at multiple games, because we got lots of live games. It is 90 plus 30, so no extra time. So yeah, bishop e7 and then knight h6, totally possible, like to try and break with g4. But I kind of feel like the knight wants to come to g5 after g4 is executed, because then from g5 it really hits a lot of juicy squares, h3, f3, e4, and you have like a lot of ideas with that knight. But I'm not sure. Somehow it'd be great to get this rook from like a6 to g6. Like if rooks could jump over stuff, then this maneuver would be very, very strong, I think. But unfortunately, that's not possible yet. Yet. Okay, let's see who else. We got a lot of games, folks. So this is board one. So actually, Grandmaster Flom is the only player with 3 out of 3. And all he had to do was survive 3 juniors. So there have clearly actually been a lot of upsets in the tournament so far, because a lot of people are on 2.5 points. Board 2, by the way, also very interesting matchup. We have Vladimir Akopyan playing against David Berses, and David actually very strong grandmaster from Hungary, but Akopyan also like former like Olympiad member of Armenia's team. That won like multiple Olympiads, and U.S. senior champion, I think the most recent one. So really, really strong player. Also just a very, very creative player. And yeah, he's got tons of interesting games. I really like watching him play. I just feel like he's just like a very strong, like, I mean, he's like almost 20, I think was over 2,700, just super, super good. Why aren't I competing in Vegas? Actually, I just got back to the United States a couple of days ago from a big Euro trip, so I figured that I would just be way too tired and jet lagged to play my best in such an event. So I decided not to play, and rather just visit, hang out, do commentary, make content, other chess stuff. yeah, I just thought like it's just gonna be way too, like I just finished the tournament, so it was gonna be way too much for me. And I think that was a good decision. I think that was definitely a good decision. Because the jet lag is rough. I think when chess players travel across the pond, they definitely, like, we need at least 2 days, I think, to like truly like have a chance. And more if you're really, if you really have the time, would be ideal. But that's another reason why when you go to Europe, you often try to play multiple events, because like your first event, you never know how the jet lag is going to hit you, and so at least you have more events to kind of make up for it. So yeah, and it's like, tough schedule, 2 rounds per day, lots of juniors, underrated folks. It is a very good tournament though. So if I was in better shape, then I would definitely play. In fact, I'll probably play next year. Okay, so Vladimir, historically has been an e4 player, but for this game he goes knight f3, d5, which I like to do myself quite a bit, because you get to play with different move orders like Catalan, ready system, and so you have a lot of different ideas here. So he goes b3. And I think this is like a typical way for players to really try and maximize their winning chances. Also, we can see on the clocks, by the way, that David is in massive time trouble. Whatever is happening, he's in massive time trouble, which is not looking good. So, okay, Black can develop here in many different ways. He goes bishop f5, which is very normal. It's like a reverse London setup, which is very solid. c4, fighting for the center, and now g3. So double fianchetto. But Black already got the bishop out to f5. This is typically the problem bishop for Black, and I assume he's going to go c6 at some point here to blunt the bishop on g2. And it's a very solid position with this bishop out. So we'll see how White... Yeah, I thought he would go d3 and play for this e4 break, and I think that's kind of what happened in the game. So knight d7, knight d2. White just has like the classic harmonious setup with the double fianchetto, and then one knight on f3, one knight on d2. You don't really want both knights blocking the bishops. You kind of want to at least keep one bishop open. And then these knights coordinate very well, because you have like knight c4 and then knight e5, and then the other knight can come to e4. So it's like they just work really well. So this has always been one of the most harmonious setups in chess. Knight e4, not very good. Okay, bishop g6. Now he takes. Okay. I mess with it. He takes, and he goes e4. And Black played rook e8. So Black did not dare taking this pawn, because it's just like simple tactic. Knight takes and bishop hangs on d6, right? And then if bishop takes, then this, I think, feels extremely loose for Black. So knight h4. It seems like White is likely in great shape. Although, I mean, knight f6, I don't see exactly how White wins back the pawn immediately, but he just looks very, very active. Like knight f5, queen can move, rook a d1, rook e1, and then the two bishops are just like pew, 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 crisscross. Maybe there's something even better. I'm not sure, but okay, clearly both players understood Black shouldn't take the pawn, so rook e8. And okay, now he's adding pressure though, and then well, here we go. So okay, probably David spent a lot of time considering whether he can take this. I mean, let's see. So he spends a lot of time on c6 and on bishop g6, like 14 minutes, and another 7 minutes, and then on rook e8 he spent 15 minutes. So, and he was spending like, okay, he spent 4 minutes on knight f6, 6 minutes on bishop f5. 7 minutes on e6. Okay, yeah, that's too much, David. I'm sorry, that's too much. Because this is a 90 plus 30 game. You don't even get more time at move 40. We're only at move 11. He's down 45 minutes on the clock to a very strong player. So this is very risky for Black. I imagine maybe Bercy's here maybe does this a lot. Sometimes some players just like they get into time trouble. Every game. Actually, I played him once. He was in a tournament I played in, and we played an interesting game in a round robin, and I think he might have been getting into a lot of time trouble in the tournament. So this might be kind of his usual steed, which means that he's probably actually pretty comfortable just playing on the increment. But it's clearly a very complicated position. I mean, there's so many pieces on the board, right? So it's going to be tricky, and Vladimir is a very tricky player. He's gonna like very tricky, but also like he's just gonna make all the best positional moves also. So it's just like kind of two-punch combo. Okay, so yeah, clock is a big problem. And yeah, actually at the dojo we've got this new time management rating that's very cool. So anyone that uploads their games, I think you have to be a member, but if you upload your games, we have a little graph that shows you like what would have been the ideal time usage. And yeah, I think it's like a very useful thing just to give you a picture, like what your time usage is like. So it could be very very useful. So rook e8, and now white's thinking, because okay, again the pawn is going to be hanging on rook e1, so he has to make sure that the tactics are still working out for him. And but otherwise, I'm not sure what white wants to do with this pawn. We definitely don't want to take and then leave the d3 pawn in trouble. And then e5, we don't have enough on that. Black is just gonna gobble that up. Oops, extra attackers here. So I guess so. I feel like he has a couple of moves. Rook e1, knight h4 is definitely a move, because if black takes here, we can throw in knight takes g6 and then take with the pawn, and then we've kept really strong bishop pair, and then f4 is coming, and then e5, and so white's majority is very, very strong. So assuming we don't blunder any tricks like knight g4, stuff like that, like this position looks really nice for white. So knight h4 would be the move I'd be looking at here for sure. And folks, feel free to make suggestions in the chat. Happy to analyze the games. Now, isn't the ideal time usage very individual? I do think it kind of depends on the position. Like, obviously, the more complicated the position is, the more you should be spending your time. But the thing is, I think if you look at multiple games and you start to see a pattern that you're spending too much time or not spending enough time. So really, the tool is actually more aimed for players that don't spend time, so they can see like they're not spending enough time. But I think both sides, of course, have you got to try to find that equilibrium. But yeah, in general, if you have way too much time left at the end of the game, then you're not using your time, and that's no good. And then if you're burning all of your clock down before the game opens up, and like starts to get actually like really complicated, then that's also not good. So I think you can kind of like use it to detect patterns in your play. Hello, filet to gefilte fish. How are you? Welcome to the stream. So my prediction, folks, knight h4 from white, because black is just not in time. Okay, I guess he has bishop h5, but then I think we can just go f3 here safely, and I don't really see what black can do to us. The knight can come to f5, or we play g4 somewhere, or just like queen moves, and looks like white's, well, okay, actually, hold on. Well, okay, there's tactics again, but I think the tactics work out for white, because we got queen takes d6. So Vladimir thinking maybe we can check out another game. There was one game already finished, early draw. Actually, a couple games have been drawn. And then we also got some streamers playing. Why don't we check on the streamers? For example, Dina is playing, Dina Belenkaya, and streaming by also. And we just had a panel today with Dina and the rest of the streamers here at the tournament, which is super fun. Let's see what's going on in this game. So she's playing Ethan Guo, one of those underrated juniors they're always warning us about. She goes for Caro Khan, solid choice. Queen e2, okay, hoping for knight d7, the classic oopsie little daisy. But that did not happen. Dina has known that trick since a very long time. So a3, bishop g4, takes gf. Okay, kind of a weird structure. Bishop e6, queen d7, bishop g7, f5. Takes. So, kind of an unusual game. Knight d4. White gets the bishop pair, but black kind of feels ahead in development, also has more space. Counterplay ideas with f4. White goes for the endgame. d4. I kind of think Dina should advance f4 here, but I'm not, like, to get that space, but I'm not sure. h5. Check. Bishop d7. And he works very hard to trade off that bishop. Takes, bishop f4, king f7. And okay, to me it looks like black has a very nice endgame here. We kind of just have like a classic better bishop. But of course it's never so clear. Like white does have some counterplay with rook e2, followed by bringing the other rook over to a1. So yeah, it's not so clear. I guess black can always put one of the rooks back on c6. And then they have this minority attack with a5, maybe rook c8, b4, things like that. But yeah, probably close to equal this one. So Dina's going to have to use some of that Russian endgame magic to grind it out. Oh, Dragon asked for Dina's game. Well, I was right ahead of you. Anand won a lot of high-level classical games back in his day, spending very little time. Well, we're not all Anand, are we? If you're Anand, you can do whatever you want. It's Andre TV. Hello, hello. We just met Andre at Vigiavano last week. So I would definitely take black's position here, but I would not take black's clock. Dina, I feel like, also is a bit of a time usager. But this position was pretty funky though, so I can certainly relate to it. White though hasn't really been spending that much time, given just how quickly they've been making a lot of their decisions. And I'm not really sure how. I mean, white had the bishop pair. Probably it was reasonable, but maybe he was worried that one day black would play e6 and kind of totally restrict the bishop. So takes. And b5, I would expect rook e2 here, but now white is kind of thinking and spending some time. Ciao. Yeah, Tony is also playing. So let's check out how the other streamers are doing. So we had. Okay, this is not a streamer game, but we have Yannis Warnier against Zoe Tang. Zoe, one of the top juniors in the US, and Giannis actually played this kid in Italy last year. Go figure. Okay, here we have Tony's game. Tony Padron of the Chess Sharks, and wow, he just went knight takes e5. Position looking nice for Tony here. Black's king looks very open. Let's see how we got here. Whoa, hold on, wait. I don't think I counted the material correctly in that final position. Okay, so he goes for Jubava London, Queen f3, g4. I mean, this is pretty. I would say this is actually. I mean, it's a very aggressive opening, but this is quite thematic for the line. You go g5 and hit black's knight, and yeah, really aggressive stuff. c5. So takes castles. He kind of slows down. Okay, finally goes g5, h4, queen e7. And rook takes d5. Wow, I got to see how much time he spent on that move. Okay, 20 minutes on rook takes d5. So this is not some kind of prep bomb. He was already spending time here. He spent 10 minutes on g5, and then 6 more minutes on h4, and then 18 minutes, almost 20 minutes on rook takes d5. Wow. And then he's not going knight c7. He takes knight e5. Queen e4, queen d6, knight f3. So it's like a full rook sack, but he doesn't get the knight c7. f5, black fights back. And now knight takes e5. So yeah, when I saw this position, I thought he's up a pawn. And black's king is in the center. I mean, looks amazing. But then I realized he's down a rook. So I'm going to call this one unclear for now. Although, actually, I mean, it's very concrete, just in the immediate situation. Like, if knight takes e5, we have knight takes f6 check. Bishop takes e5. Okay, but then black has... I mean, queen e6 runs into bishop c4, maybe queen e7. But the king is still very, very open, but black is up a rook. But the king is open. But it is a rook, though. So it's complicated. It's complicated. You can also take with the pawn. And then here, I don't see anything amazing for white right away, but I think it just kind of keeps developing. Bishop c4, looks for rook to d1, and then hopes that... Because, I mean, still, well, if black castles queenside, then it's kind of over. Because the king is looking very safe on the queen side. So white needs to make sure that he's able to prevent that from happening. But I don't know, bishop e6, knight c7 check, take here though. No, it's too much material. There's no mate. So black here is thinking, but Tony's gonna have to figure something out here. He's gonna have to pull some magic, because I'm not seeing it. He is up on the clock though, so he is a practical player. He's gonna put pressure on the guy. Hey, Bid, Colin, how's it going? I'm not playing. I'm just doing commentary. Because I figured I would be tired, and that is correct. Would I take white or black here? I think I would take black. I don't really see... Normally I do like attacking, but I also like having an extra rook. And after f takes e5, I just don't really see where white's attack is. Like, we both have 3 pieces out. King is in the center, but black just needs like 2 moves, bishop e6 and castles queenside. So, okay, maybe he goes bishop g5. Try to make this work for white, but yeah, it's hard to truly believe. Bishop e6, let's say knight f6 check. King moves. Bishop e2. It's scary, but like check king g7, like, yeah, hard to fully believe here. Maybe I'd try this one just to give back some material. Actually, wait, full rook, so we don't want to give up a ton of stuff. Yeah, I think still some intrigue here. Knight e7 maybe. Just try to bring more pieces around to the king. Knight g6. Knight takes h7. There's always bombs though. There's always bombs. I don't know. It's a lot of pieces around black's king. Okay, wait. I think. Okay, now actually it's starting to look really bad. Really bad. Like this, and this line is no good. This line, white is winning. So yeah, I don't know. There's some chances for white. Bishop g5 and knight f6 check. Maybe bishop g5, rook f8, but rook f8 then. Can we take on h7? I'm not sure. Rook f8, bishop c4, and like the pieces are circling, so there's still some danger here. Yeah, let's check on Emily. Emily plays chess, also streamer and player. And okay, this one I can count. Emily up a bishop. Up a piece. Let's go, Emily. Yeah, looks like she's winning this one against 1931 from Netherlands. So pretty strong player actually. It's so Emily, I found out, has only been playing chess since like June last year. It's like 1 year, like serious. Maybe she knew how to play already, but like 1 year of like streaming and like actually studying. So let's see how she played this one. Okay, we got double London system. Nice. White playing Jobava London, black playing classic London. So we'll see which London is better. Knight e5, castles, g4. G4, I would say that's really nice. But I'm guessing this is kind of well known for Emily. I would say this is maybe typical plan for this kind of position. Because this is not your typical London. It's like the Jobava London. So it's like sharp. You're actually playing for the attack a lot of the times. Castling queenside. Actually, it looks very, very unpleasant for black already. I'm thinking that castling might have not been it, actually. Castling might have been like a serious mistake, and maybe black should have been a tiny bit more circumspect, like h6 or something. But, you know, castling, I mean, it feels so natural, but if you get hit with g4, h4, it starts to feel very, very, very bad. So h6, g5. Probably could take on g6 too, but this also looks very strong. Hg. Okay, that's an open H file. Now takes on g6. Takes here. f4. Beautiful position. And black, okay, has to sacrifice to try to survive. But it's not really enough. Black doesn't, yeah, the pieces come out and just easy. Okay, goes straight endgame. Easy endgame for white. Wow. Nice. Go Emily. Very cool. Maybe could have also just like played for direct attack. Who knows? Like bishop d3, and then takes, queen takes would be kind of strong. Knight g5 we take and mate. But I think what she did is actually very, very good. Because if black doesn't sacrifice here, then they're getting bishop d3, queen comes out, and it's just queen g4. Yeah, it's going to be very bad very soon. So black sacrificed out of desperation, but then traded queens, and yeah, you don't really hold this one. Okay, rook g3, rook g1, nice technique. Takes. Knight f4. Takes. And now it's just okay, should be a matter of technique from here. Nice. Oh, Tony's been working with Emily. Chess.com is the wrong opponent. Her opponent's 808. I see. Yeah, sometimes they get the DGTs wrong. I learned the hard way. Castling short against the Jobava London is not good. I mean, you can castle short. You know, I don't want to discourage people from castling here. It's not an anti-castling commentary, but it's of course you have to be careful not to just like walk right into it. you have to have a good version of things. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Tadev is playing, Tadev Abrahamian, against Rohan Rajaram, young kid from Bay Area, I believe. And Tadev playing King's Indian. Bishop. Actually, this was the same thing we had on board one with Zhao Jinchao. He played c6 in this position. Tadev goes queen e7. Takes, knight d5, goes back. Queen c2, c6, goes back, queen e7. And yeah, kind of classic King's Indian style game here. Black gets e4, knight f6. Generally, when black has achieved e4 here, it's pretty good because the bishop opens up and these pawns are quite active. So seems like kind of a nice, at least a decent position for black. Maybe bishop d7, rook d8. Just get the pieces out. Knight will eventually come to c5 or b4 maybe. Hello, Dortam. Long time. Hello. going. Not sure how I'll fix. Hard to see the chat. That's right. Queen c1, and yeah, black. Okay, down to 25 minutes. Not a lot of time. No extra time and move 40. So it's just 60 plus 90 plus 30 here. Let's see. We have, whoa, let's go back to board 1. So this game I think actually is still gonna blow up, I'm sure. But board 1 has, guys, they stopped playing chess. They started playing checkers. What? Why are all the pieces on the same color? Are you the pawn on f2? It could have been. No, okay, knight d1. So last move covers rook b2 check. So it feels like black has broken through on both sides of the board, actually. So this is looking really, really tough for white. So let's see how this destruction happens. And oh, so here we remember we left it here, and black was spending a lot of time. So he comes up with a6, knight c3, and bishop takes h3. Guys, he sacks like the King's Indian bishop. And he's just saying, you're not stopping the pawns. Wow, and even white gets bishop f1 in. So white kicks the queen, which 100% he saw, queen d7. And he's just saying, you're not stopping the pawns, bro. g4, g3. You got an extra knight on, you got an extra bishop. Okay, good luck. Dang. And so white gives the piece back because he's running out of squares for his guy. So here, then maybe queen h3 check, and knight g5, queen h1. I'm not sure. Knight g5, then there's this one. Then g2. It feels like black is, kind of breaking through. Like here takes, rook g3. f3 check. I mean, it's very slow, but like bishop g5. It's like, white's just kind of, I'm not sure, but something like that, I guess, is was the plan. Maybe he has something else here. Maybe g2, knight g5. Very interesting. So here he takes. White tries to bunker down, but rook g3, rook f1, and just rook b8, just cold. Like I'm gonna attack you from this angle too. And queen a4, queen comes in, rook b3. And I just don't think you survive this as white. I think this is really. And black is up 2 pawns. So, and this is just game over. I mean, he's just breaking through. And resigns. Yeah, there it is. Wow. Because white, 2 pawns up, and he's breaking through. Like the bishop is hit. This doesn't bring anything. Black can do this if they want, and give a rook for 2 pieces and everything with check and just be winning, or probably can just take because white's counterplay isn't going anywhere. Just knight on f7 holds everything. So fantastic game. So he beats the leader. He beats the clear leader. So unfortunate for Gabriel Flom. He's the only player on a perfect score going into this round, but loses to Grandmaster Jin Chao, who now is on 3.5. And then this also opens up the door for a few players that have several players that have 2.5 that can possibly win as well. So, let's go back to board 2 now, which is now our top board. Yeah, what a nice game, huh? Always good. Always happy to see the King's Indian win. I'm not biased, but if it's a King's Indian, I want the King's Indian to win. I'm not biased. But if you play King's Indian, it's a great opening. Worth every point. Okay, let's see what happened in this one. So, knight h4, I called that move. By the way, folks, we're doing no engine commentary because it's just much more interesting to watch the games without the engine. Just like seeing the board, giving you the human analysis. We've been calling moves already, knight h4, and now David has 3 minutes left, so I got to hurry up. So knight h4 played, takes on e4, takes, de. Looks like a nice position for white, 2 bishops, but bishop e5 actually, okay, nice move by black to immediately trade off the bishop pair. I underestimated that one. Queen c2. And by underestimated, I mean didn't see that it was going to happen. Queen b2, knight e5. So this position is still pretty, very much, I think, playable for black. But, of course, the low time is going to make it really hard to play accurately. h3, good move, covering g4. Rook a d8, but black's position seems very harmonious. I'm going to say maybe king moves at some point, try to play f4. He starts with queen c2, rook d4. And, okay, this is live position. So this is we'll see how much time Vladimir uses here because you have 50 minutes against 4. And the thing is, your opponent is very strong. So you can't just make random moves and try to blitz them and expect to win. That's a great way to lose, actually. Your opponent can always, 30 seconds is a lot of time for grandmaster to at least spot an idea or a nice move. So if you give your opponent a chance, so you have to just play solid. And if anything, I would say so a lot of players, they try to play very forcing when the opponent is in time trouble. They try to f4, and then it's that's how you end up losing, because you play forcing and then you force them to find all the best moves. That's what happens when you play forcing. So a lot of times it's better to, well, first of all, you should just play the position. So if the position calls for forcing moves, you're attacking, you need to make some forcing moves to checkmate them, then by all means play forcing. But if the position is kind of quiet and there's not a lot of tactics going on, here, I think it's just kind of a dynamic middle game, then you have to be very precise, and so you can afford to play patiently. So I would think rook fe1 is the most logical move, but maybe he's thinking about, okay, what am I going to do once black doubles up? And maybe he doesn't have to go rook fe1. Maybe he should start with king h2 here, so that he can just get off the diagonal and just play it. Because white really wants to play f4 and e5. And black, I think, is going to double on the d file and maybe plant the knight on d3. But, yeah, very complicated. I mean, white's bishop is not necessarily so great here, but it is a bishop, and one day it can open up. And especially if white gets f4 and e5 and breaks somehow and opens up some tons, then the bishop can be very strong. But it's interesting, Vladimir's spending time. He's not just trying to blitz. He's just trying to and it's more unpleasant for the opponent. That's the real thing. It's because black right now is just completely focused, and he has to stay focused for the next hour. So Vladimir here, I think, is going to torture him. He's just going to very methodically, and I think this is the best way to do it, just very methodically make moves and just slowly improve the position, not allow counterplay, and then force the guy to just continuously find decent moves when he has to continue, make a bunch of choices. Are there IMs, FMs doing well so far that we should be watching out for? Drink a lot of water, yeah. Yeah, drink a lot of water in front of let's see. Let's check out some of the top boards. So it looks like on board 4, we have IM Gabriel Bick. So 2.5 out of 3. If he continues to do well, definitely could be on track for a GM norm. And then, and actually here, he seems to be doing all right against GM Victor Matvishin from Ukraine. Goes to one of the Texas schools. And then we have Grayson Rohrer against Emilio Cordova. Grayson also an IM, 2.5 points. And his position actually looks very fun right now. So this might be a chance for Grayson to pull off a big upset. I don't know. I mean, his opponent is quite strong, Emilio. So what's going on here? White has a knight c6 in the position, which looks very, very tempting. I mean, it's Wow. Okay, I think black has snagged a pawn in the Benoni here with knight takes e4. Or somehow white sacrificed the pawn. Maybe he didn't snag it on e4, but he has a pawn and his knight is on e4. So black's position here actually has a lot of upside. Like extra pawn, Benoni, I mean, is pretty good. But the thing is, like, white has some activity. It's a very unique position. Oh, and the white is way up on the clock too. So this is like, oh boy, this is a problem for black. Let's see how this happened, so we could try to understand if someone blundered or this is all anticipated. So, Fian Kettle Benoni, white decides to also. Well, no, what happened is white played g3, wanting to play Catalan, and black says, well, if you commit to g3, we're going to play Benoni. And then white says, okay, you got it, boss. So bishop g2. They get this opening. I'd say it's pretty solid. White can definitely... It's considered to be a very decent version of the Benoni because the bishop on g2 is not so good. Bishop's better on this diagonal, but where it supports, helps prevent b5. But anyways, it's still a very complicated position for both sides to play. So e4, he hangs the pawn. Black doesn't take it, probably because white would just take back and take on d6, and then black's queen is in the crossfire as well. So g5, bishop back, and he doesn't take again because this time takes, and now knight takes g5. So white would win the pawn back, and then yeah. Your king looks messed up. So rook b8, knight d2, b5. Black gets b5 in, b4, rook a7, and then white just sacrifices the pawn again. Black finally takes it. Knight a5, rook e8, knight c6, queen f8, knight c7 on the board. Oh, we have tactics. Oh, hold on. Guys, we have tactics here. Knight c6. Knight c7. Rook is trapped. Rook is trapped. So black is giving the exchange here. So I'm thinking this is looking really nice for white. I mean, it's complicated still, but like there's always tricks. But especially with the time situation, things very much feel like in white's favor. I mean, an exchange is an exchange. And white's rooks look pretty good. So, big chance for Grayson here. Big chance for Grayson. Yeah, the Grandmasters, they stay focused the whole time. They're very good at it. And in time trouble, they're dangerous. But at the same time, pretty much every player is worse in time pressure. I mean, it's just, okay, logically, you wouldn't be better when you're in time pressure. It makes no sense. There's no way you would be better when you have 30 seconds left. Chess is a thinking game. You need time to find details about the position in concrete. You cannot just intuitively pluck the best moves out of the position, again and again and again and again. So, and maybe you can, but I mean, it's just like, one player out of a billion maybe that can do this, that has this perfect intuition. So for most players, the lower they get on time, the harder it is to continue to play accurately, because sometimes just random stuff happens. Like you make a move that is positionally sound, but there just happens to be a forcing move, that kills you. And so it's very hard to avoid blundering, especially in a position with so many pieces on the board. So if this was like a simple rook endgame, then I would say, okay, a strong grandmaster can absolutely play this with precision on 30-second increment. We see it all the time. But a complicated middle game like this with so many pieces on the board, it's really hard to imagine that mistakes won't be made. But of course, it's also tough on white because he has pressure on him. So I've been in this situation many times when you have more time than your opponent and you're winning. And so you're like, okay, I've got him on the board, I've got him on the clock, but like you get nervous because you're like, okay, I have to win now. And so, you start thinking about the result a lot. Okay, so bishop b7. And I think, okay, we can take the rook, of course, but white should also think if there's anything stronger that he can do. When you see a good move, always look for better. Because if the rook moves away, knight on e4 is hanging. So it's not like black can just do anything. So rook c8 maybe, is possible. So is white going to just take the rook here? I think he's definitely going to think about it, because one tactic you do want to use when your opponent is in time trouble, 3 minutes left, is like if their move is forced, knight takes a, queen takes a, then you should have your next move ready, right? So you should be thinking here, knight takes rook, queen takes knight, and then what do I play, so that you can just bang it out immediately. You take the rook, they play queen takes, and then you bang it out, and then they got 3 minutes to deal with your with your next idea, like queen c4 or something, queen g4, like takes queen g4. Maybe he's gonna try to surprise him with queen g4 right now, but that runs into f5. But yeah, takes queen g4, kind of annoying. I guess knight f6, black can always protect, but you definitely want to be precise here and not rush it. Okay, so Grayson with a big chance. And let's see. Okay, Emily did win. That was expected with the extra piece. So bravo, Emily. I know she lost the first game, but then, the opponent walked into a skewer. And let's see Tony's game. So fe5, he goes bishop c4. I was thinking bishop g5 here was potentially more annoying for black, just to immediately get knight f6 check. But bishop c4 looks okay. Queen g6. And so black is saying, I'm willing to give you the rook on c7 or a8, but then I'm taking on f4 because we get to trade queens and your knight is still trapped, so I would be up one piece, possibly two pieces. So this, yeah, definitely not bueno for white. Rook d1, bishop d7. Bishop e6, rook h7, and the knight is still caught. So queen g6, annoying move, because now if white moves the queen away, of course, bishop on f4 is hanging. So yeah, maybe bishop g5 should have been played, because on queen g6, I feel like you at least have knight f6 check. Or actually, also your bishop's not hanging, so you could just take and then get your rook back, and then maybe this is something. Yeah, then this is definitely something. So I think bishop g5 might have been the way to do it there. Now queen g6, and yeah, Tony's thinking on this one. Yeah, we'll definitely get back to this Grayson game. I just want to check on the streamers. Dina, she did bring her rook back to c6 at some point. So yeah, rook e2. We saw this endgame earlier. Black is kind of pressing here a bit, but white has some counterplay against the e pawn. Okay, bishop e5, rook back, b4. Chipping away at the pawn structure because the d pawn is hanging. In case white takes, then their pawns will be very weak. So bishop d2, rook b8, applying the pressure. Playing like Capablanca, I gotta say. Dina Capablanca. And now black to play. She's got 11 minutes on the clock to finish out the game. So this is tough because this is still tricky enough where you need some time to calculate some stuff here. Eventually black is going to try to break through. And yeah, going to need that time to figure out exactly how to do that. Now she's keeping the tension because she doesn't want to take right away. Maybe she'll play b3 at some point, but I feel like this is a position where you should take with the minority attack, because b3 you're not going to be winning the a file anytime soon. White will play rook a3, and then if you challenge for the a file, white goes rook takes b3. So b3 rook a3 doesn't seem so good for black. The bishop is like, this e pawn is really in the way. Black needs to be able to. The e pawn is really in the way because black would love to bring the bishop around. So b3 I think is not a thing. So you could take just to see how white takes back. I feel like probably take with the pawn and then do something like this, threatening here, but white would have a lot of ways of dealing with this one. Maybe king up, maybe king g2. But black is definitely the one that knocks in this position. But how to increase the pressure? Maybe some h4 somewhere. White will go g4. Hard to say what we achieve there. Okay, but Dina's going to keep pressing. And yeah, let's get back to this Grayson game. See if he made a move yet. No, he's okay. He took the rook, but then he started thinking, no, Grayson, that's not how you do it. You have to have your move ready to try and flag the guy. Now your opponent gets to think on this position, you know, and then try to figure out what you're gonna do and anticipate your moves and so on. But okay. Oh, can White still go bishop g5? Oh, in Tony's game. All right, we'll just quickly go back there. In this position, the problem is you don't really want to trade queens. Okay, it is kind of a funny line. Like here, you made it. No, there's no mate. Excuse me. Here, there's not mate. I blundered. I apologize. But you don't want to trade queens here as White because you're still down the rook, so your attack will be much less. So I think he's still okay. He went for knight c7, but now what? Queen is just hanging on e4, so he's going to be forced to go for this endgame, which I'm not really liking for him. Okay, so Grayson there still thinking. Let's check out Kapyan. He went rook d1, g5, knight f3. So g5 is like to play against f4. He goes knight f3, and I was expecting king h2, but king h2, now black maybe plays g4, like he just kind of fixes the structure. So we're not getting f4 in. Knight f3, fighting against the blockade. Knight d7, and now it's White's turn here. So he's got 41 minutes. He's whittled his opponent down to 2 minutes. Man, some big time trouble clashes here, huh? He's whittled the guy down to 2 minutes. But the problem is that black actually, I feel like, has a very harmonious position. Knight is coming to e5, rook e d8. I think black is more or less fine here. Black might even be, you know, I mean, black always has counter chances because if black gets the d file and rook to d2, it's pretty dangerous. But so the question is, does White get bishop g2, king h2, f2, and f4 in time? And I'm not really sure. Let's say here, king h2, here, f4, here. And it's like a big question, like who's on first? Queen c3, and I don't quite see it for black. Yeah, I don't quite see it. Let's say take here. I mean, knight, of course, can just move. I mean, so I was saying I just don't see like a clear win, but knight can just move. And now the 7th rank looks weak. There's queen c7. I kind of feel like this is nice for black. Yeah, I think white's too loose here. So I don't think White is in time to go for this plan. So knight d7, rook e3 played. So rook e3 is interesting. On knight e5, I wonder if he wants to put the bishop on e2. But yeah, he's still not playing f4 anytime soon because this rook will be hanging on e3. But rook e3, see, like kind of non-committal move, a little bit tricky. Okay, knight e5 played. Oh, and bishop e2 fast. This is a pro. This is a professional. This is how you put pressure. You know, you go like rook e3, like a little tricky, knight e5, and bishop e2. Now you have to find the move. Okay, but rook d8 seems very obvious because on f4 there's still rook d2. But maybe he's calculated something like this. No, I doubt it because this would be a big problem for White. So 0 chance this is his idea. because this is just way too dangerous. And yeah, just losing. So he doesn't want f4. Maybe he just wants rook d1 just to trade off a pair of rooks, because he still has this f4 idea in the future. One minute for David. Now checking the other games. On b7, it's you mean in the Grayson game, or which game? Queen b4. Queen b4. Just kind of adding to the pressure. Now, yeah, it feels like white's going to have to work very hard here to try to squeeze this one out. Maybe rook d1, trading off that rook. Oh boy. So Grayson still... No, Grayson made a move. Grayson made a couple moves. Okay, so he's trying to blitz him out. Rook e1. Let's see this. Knight f6. Queen d2. Queen moves. f4. g4. Bishop f2. King h1. King h8. Excuse me. And no, I mean this is definitely looking good for white, because black's pieces are passive. Passivo. The question is, can white break through? There should be some way. So the real question is, will he find it? Okay, one plan is knight e7, knight f5. And then you just take the dark squared bishop, which is a really nice piece for black. So knight e7, knight f5 looks very good. No, this looks really nice for white. I think he's going to win it. I mean, it's black needs a miracle. Black needs a miracle here, because this is really, I mean, knight e7, knight f5. Yeah, Benoni is going down. I mean, are we missing some trick? Of course, Emilio's seeing this plan and coming up with some kind of resource against it right now. But what is he going to do? I think black's shaking in their boots. Because Grayson's thinking, he's thinking there, he's spending time. He's like, all right. He can go, no, he can't go rook e7. Black is hoping for rook e7. Rook e7 would be really bad. Take. Although even this actually is like, this is actually a real problem for black. So rook e7 is a possible blunder that works. Takes the real, because if the queen goes to the back rank, there's rook a8. Hello, mama. Bishop is covering. Of course, black doesn't have to take on c6, but still, rook on e7 is it's a pretty annoying piece. So he needs to put something on e7. e7 is the square here. e7 is the square right now. Yeah, you have to Google that, dog. That's how I try to look up how people pronounce names, is you just Google them saying it, because I'm not going to be able to say it correctly. So you just Google them saying it, and then hopefully it comes up in some video. Let me check on our streamers here. Wait, Tony has gone all in. Tony's gone all in. Rook d1 takes. And okay. So if queen takes, he at least gets this rook. He at least gets one rook back. He's still down a piece, and there's some discovered potential. Ah, queen c2, guys. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Oh, that's a bummer. And then white just takes. No, black just takes, and it's 2 pawns for the bishop. It's really not enough. So black took. And yeah, I mean, it's just I think he's gonna find it too. Edward Lee sounds like a kid. Dang. How do you spell coasty coast? I don't know. I mean, it's only ever been said. It's only ever been said. Oh man, king b6, and it's GG's. Will we see queen takes c2 though? That's my question. I mean, it's a nice trick, you know. It's a nice trick. Are we keeping an eye on our other games? Because we've got some time trouble mayhem going on, but I kind of want to see if Kid will find queen takes c2. I think Tony's found queen takes c2, so he's like hesitating on queen takes. But at this point, if you have white, I mean, what other option? It's good to look for options, but unfortunately, I'm not sure we have one. We're just down too much material. Oh, you checked the cam? Oh, maybe not a kid. Okay, then we have some chance that he's not going to find queen takes c2. We have a hope. If it's not a kid, they might miss it. They might miss it. All right, takes, moment of truth. I mean, it's not like white's position is so pleasant after king a7 either. So it's not like, oh, he saw it immediately. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, dang. And there's no tricks, right? Because anything you put on this diagonal, black is just taking with check. So unfortunately, there are no tricks here to be found. And I mean, the end game is not like super straightforward still. So black will still need to convert. But yeah, not looking good for our friend Tony. Okay, let's go back to board 2. So here, white's, I think black has been playing really well, but down on the clock, rook d1. And he's going to have to play the whole game out on 30-second increment. I mean, that's tough. Rook d8. I think we're going to see bishop e2 here pretty quickly. But, yeah, black can go queen d2 now. Offer the queen trade. Maybe white will ignore with queen a1. Just to keep more pieces on the board. Or does he go for... No, I don't really like the endgame for white. So if queen d2, we trade, rook comes into d2, then starts swinging around. It doesn't look very nice for white. So black is behind, but behind on the clock, but doing fine on the position. Okay, 10 seconds. And just a5. Ooh, he's squeezing him. I think black is the one squeezing here. But he's got no time. So who's squeezing who? Okay, this is going to be very complicated. Now it's not Var playing. You might be thinking of Var Akobian. This is Vladimir Akapian. It's a different guy. Both very strong grandmasters. And Var has actually played this tournament many times as well. But I don't think he's playing this year. Though some of his students are from St. Louis University. Okay, Grayson. Oh, what's happened with Grayson? Hold on. Guys, we have action on Grayson. Queen e2. Takes. Knight b8. Queen e7. Knight b8, not a great sign. Queen e7. The queens come in. Knight takes c6. So now white, if white wants to, can just get the queens off the board, take on c6, take on f7. It's looking GG's. It's looking very close to GG's. I mean, takes. Got to take with the bishop. Rook takes f7. And, oh boy, it's really, because white's rooks are very strong. So it's really close here. Rook e6 maybe. Rook e7. I think rook e6. Just take it all. Rook a6 he'll try, you know. Check. Bishop f1. Bishop b5. What's going on here? Still feels good for white, even if he allows rook a1 check, which he doesn't really have to do, but takes, check. Here. And, well, no, actually, this is still complicated. Oh, here. I don't know. Because white's going to be still up the exchange. Rook e7 is coming. Hard to say. But he just takes back. Okay, he doesn't have to trade on f8 immediately. He just takes back. And this might be a lot stronger. Bishop takes. Does he take on f8 here, or does he take on f7? Maybe queen takes f7. Does he have a different move? Feels like takes and rook takes f7 should be good enough, but I think he should be maybe he has other options as well. And he has the time to kind of look for something better too. Okay, goes for the endgame. Rook f7, bishop g7 back quickly. So see, guys, we're finding all the moves. There's no engine chess. Oh my god, so much nicer. I mean, okay, engine will be saying +3 or like +1. It's some random number, but it's like it's so much more interesting to just see the games ourselves without the help of a calculator. I mean, folks, when you solve math puzzles for fun at home, do you have a calculator just like tell the answer? Like, no, it's like you just it's more fun to do it yourself. Okay. So white can also go rook e7. We were looking at rook e6. Rook e7 is also on the menu. Knight e8, bishop d7. I think that's a killer. You trade off that light squared bishop. You can't get mated. You can't get mated. And then here black is just way too passive to survive this. No chance. One instructive line is bishop takes b2 with 3 connected passers. Rook f8 check. So no good. Okay, we'll keep an eye on this one, but I mean, I think we'll stay on this one just because it's like it's very, very sharp game. Let's see if we have any other games that are kind of heating up. Now Dina has traded off a pair of rooks and won the a-file. Oh, so she kept the tension without pushing b3, and then gets rook b6, rook a6. So she wins the a-file. h4, rook a1. And white's going to try to believe in fortresses here, but definitely black has certain chances to break through. Okay, so Dina's still playing for 2 results. In-game strategy. Tony's going to fight 2 pawns for a piece, but not looking so good. Let's see, board 2. Board 2, we had a5, king g2, rook d6. And now white is thinking how to continue from here. Oh, let's go back to the Grayson game because you guys had some move suggestions. Yeah, bishop f1, definitely possible to bring the bishop over that way. I think rook e7 to me seems quite clear enough. But yeah, the two rooks are really strong. So this should be winning for white with best technique. I played Grayson. He's quite a good player. So beat me really badly last year. I don't know if I've forgiven him for it. I think we're okay. But no, he's quite a good player. I think he might have one GM norm already, actually. If I'm not just chat GPTing and making stuff up, I'm pretty sure he's got. He was born. But he's spending his time because he wants to. I think he wants to like convert it. You know, another option would be just like G4, G5. Actually, I don't see really what's wrong with this. Just like kicking the knight off of F6, and then getting the rook in. But okay, the knight will come to D5, and it won't be so easy. So white has a lot of decent options. Rook A1 is another very decent option. Just taking the A file from black's rook and not letting black activate. This might be the path of least counterplay. Rook A1, Rook A7. Or you could try this way, here, here, and then here. And then this is just, yeah, hard for black to move. I remind you guys, bishop takes B2, rook F8. Grayson thinking. So just having fun with an interesting comment. Yeah, Kapyan was number 11 in the world. Behind Kasparov, Kramnik, Anand, Topalov, Leko, Adams, Ponomarov, Barev, Shirov, and Grischuk. Yeah, crazy list. I'm surprised Moro was not on that list, Morozevich, but maybe his time was a little bit later. Maybe a few years later. But probably he was hovering around there. Okay, rook e6 played. This was one of the first moves we looked at. Also good. I was thinking rook a6, black has to try. There's not much else. When you know, you know. Okay, but the fact that Emilio's playing my moves, it means like, ugh, it's not good. Like if I'm coming up with the best move, that means there, you know, so because I'm thinking the position is really bad for black, and I'm just kind of like just coming up with last ditch effort moves, and so I'm not sure if he's gonna have anything better. Although, okay, we never truly figured out this line exactly, but let me just see. So check here, here. Let's say we go here, and then yeah, where's the mate? There's no mate for. Okay, takes. At least he has bishop c4. Okay, so this is kind of, so here, bishop c4, check here. And then he wants bishop d5. This like could still be tricky, but I feel like white should be should have something. Okay, but maybe white needs to play more anti-counterplay. Maybe I should have done my rook e7, rook a7, rook a1 thing, because then we wouldn't have to deal with this. I'm just saying. You know, I've been trying to work on removing counterplay. Trying to work on it. It's going good. Thank you for asking. So what does white do? Bishop f1, rook a1. Kind of in the same little conundrum. Rook e1, rook back somewhere. Yeah, it's annoying for white here. Seems like he's not in time to take on, like, of course white can always like play rook e1 here. You know, it's not like bishop f1 followed by rook e1, but then he has to kind of reset and then figure out how to make progress from there. So he's kind of looking for some kind of knockout. But I don't really see it. I don't know. People have some suggestions. Oh, Murzevich was number 23 in the world. So, okay, because at one point he was number 2, I believe. He was number 2 behind the 9, I think. Like 27.90. So guy was very strong. So rook e7 here. Well, first off, white should have just played rook e7 last move, right? But like here, I think black gives check, and so this was the kind of the question with this one. Then if white takes, let's say black takes here, and yeah, it's not so obvious for white how to do this. If the rook moves to the light square, there's going to be a discovered check. Maybe king h2, looking for rook g6. So here, rook f7, knight g4, king h. Yeah, so like this is how black wins. No, king g2 can play. Okay, king g2. Okay. I was like, maybe I can run up with the king and mate the guy, but no, we get mated. So, but king g2, I think we're okay here as well. Check. It looks like the king is getting out. Now the king has a lot of squares. But this is not easy. I mean, I think he should have just gone rook e7 in the first place, and then put the rook on a7. See, this is why they say, I totally understand. This is why they say don't allow counterplay here and here. And then bishop d7, try to trade off this guy. Or bishop d7 here, I thought was like I thought actually this was the simplest. So Grayson, I think, having a little butterflies, beating the grandmaster, and now now it's a little bit harder. All of a sudden, it's a little bit harder here. So now he's gonna have to be even more precise. Might have to go back, rook e1. Oh yeah, viral. That's a possible line too. But then it's like, whoops, getting an opposite color bishop situation, which is just like, you're just kind of allergic to these situations when you're up the exchange or when you're winning, Although this might be quite good for white, because we're taking on c5, right? So here we just take, and everything's on a dark square. So king doesn't really get mated here. No, this should be winning for white. But it's just like, this is kind of, not exactly what you wanted. You kind of just want to win without having to show a lot of technique here. But at this point, it might actually be the simplest. Of course, black can go here and be like really tricky, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. But this might be the simplest. And if takes this, we go here. Maybe rook b1. Yeah, actually this is not that easy. Takes with check. And then, okay, we have a problem. I don't know, rook b1. I would think this is winning for white, but yeah, it's not exactly what we wanted. But the pawns advance, bishop d4, and so on. Okay, Grayson gonna think, because yeah, it's pretty serious moment. What happened? Bishop g2. Bishop g2. Rook e1. Oh, very interesting. Okay, Grayson shuts it down. He's like, rook e1. And now we're trading something. Oh, this is very smart. This is very technical. Maybe he had something better. I think probably rook e7 was better, but this is very technical. Bishop takes. Okay, he took a long time to write that move down. Because if they trade light squared bishops, black only has one pawn for the exchange. White's rook is really strong. The king comes in immediately, g4. I think it's still okay. Black has some pawns, but white has a rook. That's going to start bothering these pawns very quickly. So I think this is still very much in the realm of winning for white. Okay, let's check on Vladimir. Vladimir, okay. We got in this endgame. Knight d3 now. Takes. Because if he doesn't take, knight takes f4 is hanging, and he has knight c1. Kind of annoying. So he takes, king f3, rook here, and a4, I would guess. Okay, looking like a draw. I think maybe white is a little bit better because the king is more advanced, but black's rook is very active. Black has no weaknesses. King can come in soon. Objectively should be a draw, but of course Kostya is a very, very strong, very resourceful endgame player. So if there is a chance, he'll be able to kind of sniff it out. At the very least, I think he's going to put some pressure. But why doesn't he go a4? Well, okay, a4, black will play maybe b5 right away. And, okay, it's looking very drawish. Hard to see how white makes a trick. But I guess we're going to find out. The under sections, I think, are USCF based. I am thinking. But I don't know, actually. I don't know. Folks, by the way, I'll be doing commentary on this tournament all weekend. So this is round 4 of 9. So 5 more rounds to go after this. So it should be pretty fun as we follow the winner. National Open always been very strong. You know, we've had some big winners, and we got some big players here. You know, Kostya, Zhao Jinchao. I saw Ilya Nizhnik is playing, although I know he lost the game, so he's going to have to bounce back. Let's see what else is going on here. Dina's still grinding. King d7. So she's bringing the king around. Okay, just wanting to defend the pawn for now. How is Dina going to break through here, though? That's really tough to say. That's really tough. Yeah, these kids, they just they're relentless. They've learned how to defend passively. They used to have so many weaknesses. They played the same openings. They traded pieces too quickly. They defended badly. But now it's like they learned how to defend passively, no problem. They can play different openings. Kids are very tough. Very tough. Yeah, we have lots of dojoers actually in the tournament as well. I don't know if any of them are on live boards, but yeah, I've met many folks here so far, which has been cool. Lots of people playing. Nordovic was here, for those of you that know Nordovic. Well, let's see how's Alexander Katz doing, friend of mine, international master. Looks like he has 2 out of 3, playing FIDE Master, 2170. These, I believe, are FIDE ratings that they have on chess.com, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because, yeah, the top guys, their USCF ratings are going to be like 26, 2700, but their FIDE ratings have been flatlined a bit. Queen g5. Okay, so what's happening here? White is down in exchange and 2 pawns. Okay. But at least has, some attacking chances. Queen h6, knight g5. Not looking good, though. I would imagine black should be able to defend. Queen d6, queen h6, queen f8. You just want to kind of challenge the queen as quickly as we can. But I'm sure Alex will be looking for his chances here. Okay, b4 played by Kostya. Doesn't go a4 for some reason. Goes b4, takes. But now rook b2, easy. And I guess he's going rook d4, or is he giving check and coming here? That looks very risky. That looks very risky for me because white will take, or actually black gives check first, then takes, and then this one is hanging. So yeah, no good. Even if you could take this pawn, I mean, giving black 2 pawns past is very risky. So I feel like that's not happening. So yeah, just rook d4. But I think black should be all right here. I mean, because he has a lot of targets he can attack. Again, king can come in. I would think maybe just king f8 here. Just put the king on e7. Because white doesn't have time for any rook d7. We're taking here. If check, king e7. So, I don't know. White maybe pushes h4, king e7, h5. You can try to squeeze, but I think a draw is very likely here. Maybe here. Check. Like this. Kind of typical repetition draw. But we'll see. We'll see. Grayson looking for the big upset here against Grandmaster Cordova. Bishop a4, rook a7. So black decided to keep the bishops on the board. But of course white's rook is very strong, and this should be winning for white. Maybe just bishop f2. Okay, black does have an idea though. He wants to move the knight and eat this one. Hungry. So if bishop f2, like knight g4 for example. And then this is an issue for white. So this can always go sour. Let's say here takes c4. Yeah, this can also always go sour. You know, black's pawns are pretty strong. So bishop h3, h5. So interesting, he didn't go for d5. Maybe then bishop e6. White would play to kind of shut down the pawn. So h5. And now, yeah, black fighting. Not making it easy for white to convert. Not at all. Logan Schaefer is a member of the dojo. Really? Is that true? Is Jesse going to the FIDE Senior Championship in Italy this year? I have no idea. No idea. I haven't heard him talk about it, so. Well, sounds like Logan gained 100 points in Ryanjik. Yeah, Ryanjik Open. Very strong event. That's cool. Logan, I believe, is a junior. I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was a member of the dojo. That's cool. Let's watch Logan's game. Go Logan. That's awesome. We don't have many players of his level. Looks like he drew against international master Vyom Vidyarthi 24-16, and this endgame, rook against 2 pieces. Yeah, I would say draw is probably a fair result here. Although, I think if I had to pick a side, I would probably take white. But I guess his draw is pretty okay. So Logan gets a draw. He's got, well, he has more than half out of 2 because there's been 4 rounds. He just hasn't been on the DGT. So probably he has 2 out of 4 now, like his opponent. So 2 out of 4 playing up, I think definitely very good score. So go Logan. Okay, we have any updates here. So this game, g6, e5, white is advancing, but yeah, I think black is going to be able to hold it, even on the 30-second increment. Dang, Logan was 22.91, then he dropped 74 points at the Chicago. How do you drop 75 points at the Chicago Open? I mean, I guess, does he have K40? Is he still in K40? Actually, wouldn't he? Yeah, if he's a junior, he would be on K40, huh? 75 points is a lot. But, well, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, last move wasn't playing in that game. Yeah, maybe not with King E4. I mean, it looked like a normal move to me, King E4, so I thought maybe play King E4 and offer to draw. Okay, 8 seconds. David, move. Move. David, go, please. Please, make a move. David, don't flag. David, No. No. Okay, he moved. He had 2 seconds on his clock. 2 seconds. Jeez. And King E7. I mean, I would have made that move in 2 seconds. He had to use all his time. All right. Well, White is still. He's posturing. He's posturing. I wouldn't say he's really playing for the win, because Black can just immediately tack on to any weakness. So it's very hard for White to make real progress here. But he's I'm sure Vladimir has won endgames like this, where like you play King G4, somehow you trade off the H pawn, then you get F5. It's just like you get some play. But yeah, objectively, definitely should be a draw. Okay, so we have, wow, this game got pretty interesting. We'll come back to this one. Let's see Grayson. And Bishop E6, Knight G4. Kevin, you want to join? Folks, we got our first guest. This is Dr. Kevin Skull, who does a podcast. Maybe you've heard of it, Chess Journeys. How's your game?
It was fine. It was a draw against a lower rated player, so I was really wrestling with this, like, how hard do I push? He offered me a draw and a clear draw. I kept pushing. I was like, no, I'm going to win. And then I got myself in a way worse position. He offered another draw, and I was like, no, I'm still going to win. And then I was like, actually, no, that's a good idea. We should draw.
You made a draw.
So, and I don't know what happened. This round I wasn't on a DGT board.
Oh, you're not on a DGT board?
I might be next round. I don't know.
Okay.
Sure what happened.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you just want to watch some of these games with us.
Sounds good.
We've got...
How's our gal Emily doing?
Emily won. Emily won. Nice game. Dina is pushing.
Okay.
Pushing a bit. Tony was down. Tony was down a piece. So he's...
a piece?
Piece for 2 pawns.
Okay.
He's surviving.
He's in some trouble, but he's surviving. Okay.
But yeah, this is board 2 in the tournament. So Akopian equal endgame against David Bursies. But he's got 22 minutes against 30 seconds. And Black has had 30 seconds for like the whole time I've been doing commentary.
Oh my goodness.
So he's just been, he got way down on the clock very early. But managed to, I think Black is actually okay here. I think he's not really worse in this rook endgame just because his rook is very active.
Yeah, it seems fine to me. Also, he's got the 2-on-1 advantage on the wing. If, like, this is a game where clearly it's drawn, but at my level, I could see one of the two players winning. Like, I could see a small mistake, and suddenly that 2-on-1 becomes a huge thing, and then, I don't know, madness could ensue. I imagine at this level, madness will not ensue.
Yeah, I think both... at this level, right, I think they're going to keep it under control. But both sides could definitely go wrong. And I could actually see myself losing this with either color, probably.
Yeah, it's very interesting how, an endgame book might stop here and go, and here we've reached a draw. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about, draw?
Yeah. Okay, and then we have second game, very interesting. This is Grayson Rohrer. I don't know if you know this kid, but he's quite good. And he has an extra exchange against Emilio Cordova. So he is definitely trying to pull the upset off. But actually, lately this game has kind of been trending in Black's favor, in the sense that his position looked much worse earlier.
Yeah. Are these 3 connected pawns like a real threat?
Yeah, is that going to be a problem? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the bishop looks so beautiful, just
Bishop's
slicing
open,
through and cutting them all
especially
off.
this last move, Knight G4, is very annoying for White. Now, he does have the bishop on E6, so he's kind of like... He's got a sheriff in town.
Yeah, really patrolling those 3 pawns.
But it's kind of annoying. Like, if he goes B3, actually, Black already has counterplay with, like, bishop D4 check. And... I don't know, bishop E4. Oh, bishop E4. Oh, yeah, wins the rook. Okay, yeah. So
that's
the rook,
pretty good.
Yeah, that we can stop there. So, rook on A8 is not well placed here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And yeah, I think he goes back rook
Okay.
a7.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Pins the bishop, so king h8. Black's like, all right. I think black would be very happy with a draw here.
Yeah, I think so too. And also, will black give the draw, or will black do something outrageous to try to not make the draw?
Yeah, at this point, sometimes these guys do this, even though they have no rights, and black might even still be worse, but they feel like since the game has been trending in their favor, might as well just keep it going if they can.
I mean, here's the deal. Grandmasters can just keep making moves. That's what I found. Like, a grandmaster's never lost until the flag falls or there's mate.
You know. No, and they make good moves too. Their hand just
Yeah,
knows.
it's kind of amazing.
Okay, check. Now, okay, this move is not controversial. Black, well, I think what's happened, maybe white has offered a draw even.
Yeah, I could see that.
And
if black turns it down, does that mean the king has to go like h7 and then after repeat, then it goes to g6 or something to try to
exactly
make something happen?
Go to g6. And I think he's thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. It's just like my game. Do you take the draw with a lower rated player?
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. How many repetitions? 1, 2. So it's not 3 yet. So no one's claiming yet. No, this is always.
And that clock is really ticking for black.
It's running.
Wow.
It's right, and man, he might be pulling a risk here because a few moves ago he would have accepted the draw with both hands. Okay, draw agreed. Yeah, so
okay.
probably Kit offered a draw, which I think at this point is a pragmatic choice. But it's kind of a bummer for Grayson because just a few moves ago he had just a very nice position. I was thinking here, instead of rook e6, rook e7, I think.
Ooh, yeah, wow.
And
what do you even do there?
yeah, exactly. So like knight e8.
Yeah.
But then bishop d7.
Your pieces look so terrible too.
Just trade this guy off. And because of the threat of rook takes knight, you have to trade, and then I don't think white has any. This just looks over. This just looks really f5, f6, and.
Do you feel like this is sort of nerves? Like you're a lower rated kid, and you're like, oh my goodness, it's a grandmaster.
I mean, maybe I'm projecting, but I've definitely messed up a lot of positions like this due to nerves specifically. Because when you're beating a strong player, you kind of know you're doing something. Special, and it's easy to
you
kind of
also
miss
know
chances.
Probably one error and you're in big trouble, or not being big trouble, but it slips away, right? So you have to be so precise, and it's kind of challenging.
Yeah. So was this your second game?
This is my first game. I took a bye in the first round. I had to work yesterday, and so I decided just take a bye and come into town. That was the plan.
Nice. And so, okay, draw second game. Is your opponent high rated, low rated?
Lower rated. High. Okay, so I'm in the 1900 section, and my rating is only like 1675 these days, and my opponent was still like 270 points lower rated than me. Oh. So this kid is really playing up, and he was cool as a cucumber too.
Really?
He wasn't worried at all in that game. He was looking at me like, an old man, just what I was hoping to see.
Yeah, no. That's the running joke these days. Is first you look at your opponent's rating, then you look at their birth year.
Yep. He was excited.
So you held him to a draw. That's good. Ben Feingold said such an interesting thing in the streamer panel we did today. He was like, "I think the kids are better now," which I thought was so funny. He's like, "Okay." I was like, "Wow, the war is over. The kids have won."
The kids have definitely won.
You know.
Yeah.
A lot of players have receded into the Alto tournaments.
Oh, those sound so great.
Those do sound fun. I would like to play one.
I'm playing in every senior event I can find. But you know what it turns out? Seniors that are 400 points better than me, they're still better
also
than me.
Also good, yeah.
Yeah, they beat me, no problem.
Okopian was one of them. He's the reigning U.S. senior champion. And especially the last year when he won the U.S. senior, I mean, he just crushed the field. He won several straight games. And it was over by round 4.
Wow, that's impressive.
Complete collapse. Jesse, though, on the channel got second, and actually he would have won the tournament if not for Okopian.
Yeah.
So he actually did.
Was he
really
thinking of doing a Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding moves with a pipe to the leg, or no?
I think he was. Yeah, he was considering his options.
Okay. It's good to know he didn't revert to violence. That's good.
Yeah. Uh,
All right. Well, I am going to go examine my game and, see what went wrong or see if it was just a draw the whole way and we just played like geniuses.
Absolutely.
We'll find out.
Well, hopefully you get on a live board so we can watch your games.
Yeah, I'm hoping
in the
next
future.
round that will happen. And if it doesn't, it doesn't.
And where should people follow you, real quick?
The Chess Journeys podcast is a great place to start. I'm on Twitter as like Dr. Skull, I believe. And I have a Twitch channel, which is something like Dr. Skull _ Tiny Grimes. I don't remember the name of it.
Nice. Oh yeah, Tiny Grimes.
Yeah, that's an old handle that's going away now. Blues legend. Great guy. Okay.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining. Hope to
No
see
problem.
you back.
See you back. See you, everybody.
Okay. Move back over here. Let's put this guy here. And F6 played, folks, and I think F6 actually is a pretty convincing move because black chips away at white's majority. The king comes in, and this should be this is very, very drawish now. For example, white can take just to be safe, king g4, and then black can, let's say, go back and then play for b6, c5, and even if you just trade these pawns and lose one, your king is in position to hold easy fillet or draw against the f4 pawn. So I think this one very, very likely going to be a draw. We have another game actually that has reached time trouble, and whoa, this one has blown up. Victor Montvishin has sacrificed a piece. It was a very symmetrical position, but white having nice space advantage on both sides of the board, and this was really nice. Bishop d1, g6. G6, I don't know if black had to play. I mean, the pawn is defended, but he's just getting squeezed, and Gabriel here just down to 90 seconds. So he played g6, probably underestimating this one. Boom. Oh, man, brutal. But it makes a ton of sense. White's pieces are extremely active. I think this is totally winning for white. It's just very, very hard to defend. Black's pieces have no counterplay. If white can get the a pawn too, then he has this passed a pawn, which is going to be really strong. So queen b7, hoping there's no mates. f3, oh, just a killer move. Just saying like, okay, your pieces have no good squares. So like I have all the time in the world. Your king is unsafe. He could have taken on e5 too. Actually, I don't really know why he didn't. Yeah, I see absolutely nothing wrong with this move, but maybe f3 is like even more cunning, just like even more, just like you got no moves, buddy. You got no moves. I dare you to move something. Okay, king h7 gives check. He gives check and takes. All right, so yeah, he just takes the pawn anyway. Now like 3 connected pawns, very, very strong for white, and black's king is weak. So yeah, it looks like a winning endgame for white. f3. Yeah, very deep grandmaster move. Have I ever injured my elbow in chess? I feel like, I do get the back pain sometime. But elbow's not so much. Okay, so this one I'm going to say is a win for white. And looks like we have a couple other games finished up here. I want to see. So Tatev won her game. We were watching this one a bit, and looks like, ooh, this one had brutal finish. Okay, what happened here? So we saw this one way back when. Folks, who was here for this game? e4, queen c1, 97, 95. The knight hops out. f4. Ooh, yeah, this looks really nice now. Takes. And so white could not take on e4 here because of f3. f3, and the tactics are working for black because of the pin. And then bishop f1, bishop takes h3. It's all crashing through. So takes, king h1, knight c5, just bringing in the pieces. f3 there was probably also possible, but maybe inadvisable because of takes, bishop takes, rook g1 stuff, right? So you'd have to maybe prepare this one a bit more. So knight c5, queen d2, rook f6, now breaks with f3. Now black is ready to go rook h6 and give checkmate. So bishop f1. Of course, if takes, I think, yeah, you could just take back. You can block on g6. Maybe start with this one. And, yeah, feels like black is very soon breaking through here. But now white doesn't have rook g1. So f3 played, bishop f1, rook h6, knight d3, takes on e4, knight takes f2. Ooh, it's all collapsing. Fg, knight takes h3. Unfortunately for white, yeah, it's just the king is getting opened up, and there's no good defenses here anymore. Yeah, this is so many. Tadev doesn't need this many pieces to checkmate. So this is just, yeah, totally game over. And here, white resigned because I think it's just mate, just queen e5. Look at this mate. Look at that mate, huh? Now that is a checkmate. Let me check. Yeah, that is a mate. I just had to check the notation there. Make sure I got the hashtag. Okay, so Vladimir, I think we'll be making a draw soon. Rook c5 check and back. Matveshin, okay, has to deal with queen a7. I think even the pure endgame is good for white, but I have a feeling the GM move here is going to be king f1, just to kill the counterplay and leave black very passive. Because white's queen is so strong, you don't really want to trade queens and extend the game. But I think king f1 here is going to be pretty good. Okay, let's see. How about the streamers? Let's just check in with our buddies. Tony's still fighting, but I think this one is really tough to save against the bishop. Though not much time left on the clock, so this one actually is still pretty yeah, actually I think this could still turn around, or at least be tricky for black to convert. What about Dina? Dina down to a minute and a half. But opponent is still very much just staying put, defending, no problem. And yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be really hard for black to break through here. Dina playing for IM norms. And she's on 2 out of 3 so far, so doing fine. So far she, well, lost the first game, which was not good, but then won the next 2. First game was tough. She played this very underrated Armenian kid. Then she beat 2 Indian kids. So she's facing the kids. Now Ethan playing Ethan Guo, who I think I forget where he's from exactly. Somewhere in the States. And he's quite solid. So he's not going to crack easily here. But draw is okay here for Dina. She'll have 2.5 out of 4. Gets white next game. If she wins that one, then she's very much back in the tournament. So everything left to play for her there. Okay, let's see Matveshin. He's thinking here. Where is Endgame Sensei? Hello, Uncle Buck. Needs 6.5 for 9 for norm, usually right. No, actually, totally depends on the level of your opponents. 6.5 is a typical number in round robins because that's just how a lot of times the pairings work out. I think the reason it's 6.5 is because, like, depending on the average, you might need 7 points out of 9. Or 6 points out of 9 if you have a higher average, even 5.5 if you have a very high average. So a lot of round robins, they end up at 6.5 because asking someone to get 7 out of 9 is like, that's tough. That's really tough for a norm. 6.5 kind of feels like doable. So they try to get the average rating so that it's like 6.5 points for the norm. Ideally, like if you're playing for a norm, then it'd be really great if you only needed 5 points. But then the issue is like then the average rating has to be much higher. And so if you're thinking about a round robin, generally you're not just going to have all higher rated players. Like you want players that are norm seekers. Norm seekers are generally going to be more lower rated. So it's like if you have a lot of norm seekers in an event, like 3 GMs and some norm seekers, then probably going to need a higher score against that field. So that's why you kind of get a lot of 6.5. But in an open tournament, there have been tons of norms with 6 points, 7 points, even 5.5 points. I definitely see some norms with 5 points. Yeah, it's something like Dubai Open, Sharjah Masters. If you're playing like 2600s every round, then 5 out of 9 might well be enough there. But 6.5, I feel like that's like the highest you can go without it starting to feel unreasonable. I have played some norm tournaments where the norm was 7 out of 9. I remember I played like an IM norm where there's like 2 GMs, and then everyone else is just like 22, 2300 player, some 2000, some lower rated players, and I had to get like 7 out of 9. And that was tough. I mean, and I even drew one of the GMs, I believe. But then, no, actually, I think I might have drawn both GMs, but I dropped too many points against lower rated players. I think I lost a game, then I drew another game, and then that was it. So I lost a game, drew one, and then I think drew both GMs, and then I think I couldn't get 7 out of 9 anymore. Okay, Modvishin, very solid player here. He's still thinking. He's not sure about King F1 for some reason. He's seeing some counterplay for black that I'm not seeing. Or maybe he's thinking like, you know, he should just go Queen D4 and then just go for the endgame. Okay, also, I mean, to be fair, he's also maybe calculating this. Excuse me. Excuse me. Maybe he's calculating this one, actually. Because that's a 4th pawn. If he takes a 4th pawn, then it's really GG. Let's say he gives another check. And then you can go King F1, and then he's got 4 pawns. So, yeah, that's why he's not going King F1, because he's calculating this. He's calculating Queen F6 as well as a possibility. But I think you can take with check. That looks pretty clean, actually. Okay, let's see. We have any updates here? And Dina's still pressing. Now the thing is, for these players, is like they've got another game at 6:30. So you don't really want to press your endgame for too long if you're not, if you feel like the winning chances aren't realistic, because all you're doing is just burning energy for the second round. So it's kind of like, I mean, if you have any chances, I think you should try to press and win. But you don't want to like overdo it, because then you play until 6 p.m. Then you have 30 minutes to go down a bunch of escalators, eat something, run back up, get ready for the next game. It's very tough to play that second round when you've had a super long first game, especially if you didn't win. Actually, sometimes I have very long games that I do win, and it's like they just take all the energy out of me, and then that second game is brutal. Okay, Tony, he's still fighting. Rook H6, and black here I think is gonna maybe try to come in. Bishop E1, Bishop D2 might be a problem. Takes Bishop D2, and white can trade the rooks off, but I think trading the rooks off actually makes things easier for black, and black has the right color rook pawn here in the long run. So this one I think definitely still a win, even though the pawns are a little bit annoying to deal with. The problem is whenever you advance them, they just immediately get blockaded. So it's really hard. It's really hard for white to save this, but still could be. Of course, the technique will be tricky. So black will have to still be pretty precise here, but we'll see. We'll see if Tony can save it. Yeah, thank you for the spoilers. I mean, of course, Engine, yeah, doesn't give the whole story, because if something is winning with best play, doesn't mean we're going to find best play. So what I was trying to communicate is that it's going to be tricky for black to like convert this with 3 minutes. It's like some end games are very straightforward. This one's a bit tricky because like you have to find some zugzwangs, you have to be patient with the king, you might have to find like a key bishop maneuver. Computer just like blah 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 blah, just like spits out all the best moves and makes everything look easy. But like for a human, you're nervous, your opponent has 2 extra pawns, so it's yeah, not always the easiest kind of end game to just play out with precision. Oh, wait, why isn't board updating? There we go. Bishop f6 played. e4. And, okay, so h4 he wanted e5, but black is going rook c3. But now e5 anyway. And still, I mean, okay, should be winning for black, like with the bishop, but I've seen a lot of these endgames kind of turn around, especially in time trouble. So e5 here should be coming. Black, of course, wants rook c3 check, but then king will get to e4, king gets to f5. And don't think it's enough, but at least game continues. At least game continues. Okay, let's see. Do we have any updates here at the top? So, Vladimir Kopyan, David Bercy's, this game was officially drawn. We were expecting that one. So these players both on 3 out of 4. That means Zhao Jinchao, one of the few players on 3.5. I think he's going to be joined by Matveshin, who should be winning this one. Still thinking, by the way, about taking a pawn with check. So really using his time there. And then, yeah, a lot of draws on the top boards. Board 7, we had international master Sebastian Kostalansky win, so he also has 3.5 out of 4 from Slovakia. And look at this kind of final sequence. This is kind of nice. Rook takes, queen takes, trades queens, takes on d6. He's down a piece. Black resigns because takes. He has e7, and the pawn is promoting. So very nice game for him. It looks like he's going to be breaking through to the leaders. Okay, Matveshin, we have moves. Check, 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 king f1. And now queen d7, and he was ready for that one. He was ready for that one. King g1. And now the king is going to be so safe on h2. No counterplay for black once again. White's just going to push the h-pawn, and yeah, he's definitely winning this one. Okay, queen a7 check. You can go knight d4 if you really want to just shut it down, but king h1, now this is a grandmaster. Look at his last 3 moves. King f1, king g1, king h1. Folks, this is a grandmaster. His queen's on h8, knight is perfect, everything's perfect. He just slides his king over. Very nice. Really, really nice. Now, let's see. A lot of games done. Tony's game is kind of progressing. He got the h-pawn, but black took the b-pawn. So now black has easy counterplay on the queen side. So will white be in time here to get his own play going? I think you lead with the king. I think king f5. Because on rook check, of course, black is not coming here. That would be a problem. But rather going here. And yeah, still it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. So maybe start with this one. Rook b4. Give check. King somewhere, I'm not sure. Rook d7. Should be good for black, but yeah, it's kind of You know, you're always nervous when the pawns start advancing. Okay, 1 minute for Tony to figure it out. Oh, is knight d6 winning a piece? Oh no, knight was covering on that one. So queen d7, h5. And now he's not worried about queen d1 check because he just comes up to h2. No more checks. In the meantime, he wants to just push the pawn, queen g7, and promote. King e6. Black is making a run for it, but I feel like this is I mean, you could go for the endgame here with knight g7. I think h6 here is totally fine. I mean, yeah, black is just not surviving this. It's just over. The king's not going anywhere. The king is stuck, dude. This king is stuck. I think we're just going to see h6. I guess bishop g6 he wants. But for sure it's over. I mean, he can go queen h6, queen takes 8. I think check and take on a6 actually is like, oh, brutal. Wait, isn't this just like mate? Like, what is it? Where does it even go? This looks like the end of the Arjun Carlsen game, but okay, it's not quite mate yet. But yeah, you can just take here, and then he's got 2 rook pawns. No, it's GG. Okay, he just pushes. He must have found something on bishop g6 that's like just extremely convincing. I mean, yeah, he just goes knight d4, and then the queen is coming in with check. So this is GG. If here, then this one is GG. So yeah, he's just promoting the pawn. So we're gonna see resignation here very soon. Queen takes c8 I don't really like there because I think you're actually just making it more complicated on yourself. Because you're just trading pieces, and then 4 pawns against the knight should still be winning. But like, who knows? One day the knight takes on c3, and you have like your 4 pawns are very, very slow. So it's actually like much more technical here to keep the queens on the board because you have so many threats with your queen and knight. I would say, yeah, trading queens is I think it gives black more saving chances than they deserve. So h6, knight d6, and okay. He's thinking here. I think at this point h7 is probably winning because black is just not going to be stopping the pawn. But knight d4 also looks incredibly sound here. Just saving the knight. And then pushing h7. And it's just, yeah, the pawn is just coming. Yeah, see how much easier this is than having to try to win the 4 pawns against the knight, you know? So, okay, he's got 6 minutes though, so he's gonna want to clinch it out with precision, of course. Okay, knight takes d6. He just goes simple. Black has to take with the king. Oh, but then just trades queens and h. Oh, this is the easiest. Oh, this is just, yeah, because queen takes, you lose the bishop. If king takes, we're just trading queens. This is just resigns. This is just resigns. Yeah, I think he resigned. I think he resigned. Yeah, that's it. You see the results. Great game. Great sacrifice here. I do think it was a little bit unnecessary. I mean, it was bishop d1, g6, and then we got check and takes, and then the GM just knew this position is just so unpleasant for black because he's winning either this pawn or this pawn, and then white just gets too many pawns here for the piece. Black's piece is no good. So black, I mean, I think kind of bungled it with. I mean, it's still very unpleasant because it's hard to move for black, but I don't think you had to go g6. I think you could have just kept sitting, and then okay, white would just have to keep trying to squeeze somehow. So nice one by Montvishan. So let's check it out. We got 5 players on 3.5. So this I am Sebastian, Grandmaster Matvishyn, Grandmaster Zhao Junqiao, Grandmaster Gabor Nigi, and then this I am Samrug Narayan, who also won against Roshan Sethramon there, 2074. So Samrug actually having very nice event so far, 3.5 out of 4. And he's beaten, I think he's played juniors every round. So there's a lot of junior games here. Yeah, it's like junior on junior violence. So multiple players on 3.5, still a bunch of players on 3 as well. And okay, actually, let's jump back. Oh, we got our streamers still playing. And whoa, look at this. F6. Tony saved it. Check. F6. Bishop takes F6, and now White is saving it. I mean, White's definitely not losing this. Look at that. Look at that. Because if Black takes on A4, White takes on B7. So if anything, I mean, Black needs to make sure that they're making a draw here with the Rook. So I would just take, and then come down, and then make a easy Philidor draw where we can just give checks from behind. And this should be game. But yeah, like I was saying, folks, computer was saying one thing, I was saying another thing, and who was right? Who was right? Right? I was saying that it's very tricky still, especially at human level. And Compy was saying, man, Black is winning. Black is winning easily. Like no, actually, not easy. Not easy. It's very hard to play these precisely because you have to play like a machine in a lot of cases. But now, now White's saving it. His opponent did miss something out. Yeah, it always feels obvious, right? When the engines, give you it always feels obvious, but over the board, it's not easy. Time trouble, the time's ticking, you're nervous, you got Tony there staring at you. Caden Trough is behind him, with his arms. It's always tough. All right, what did he miss? F5. This doesn't look that obvious for Black. My guess is what, Rook B4, Rook H4? But even then, I mean, White's king is I don't know. That's not something you just easily see, right? That's just not something you easily find. He won here. Okay, that doesn't look great, but yeah, I can understand. In time trouble, it's tough. It's tough. And even that resulting endgame, I think, again, Black would have to play very precisely to win that one. So draw agreed. Wow, so Tony saves it. I think he should be happy about that one. I mean, he had this very interesting rook sacrifice here, folks. This was this game. Rook takes D5. But I don't know if he really got enough here because it seemed like Black was this was the moment where I was thinking Bishop G5, maybe he gets more. Knight F6. After this one, it seemed like, I mean, Black was mostly winning the whole time, and then Black had this beautiful Queen C2 and Bishop F5, but the same game, it was never really easy for Black to convert, just because White's got these 2 pawns, and we saw what happened. Okay, that leaves Dina. Whoa. Dina's got some chances here. Maybe not. But there is Bishop A3 in the position. The problem is White goes Bishop C1. How did this happen? We got a rook trade, and somehow Black managed to advance the e-pawn. So here, check, rook D2, trades, E5, F4. So White just goes full fortress. And if Black had a knight, this would be real bad. But the king comes in, E6, Bishop F8, Bishop E3, and White's saying you got no breakthroughs. You got no breakthroughs. And he might be right. He might be right. I mean, E5 is a move, but I think White can take either way. So it might still be a draw. I don't think you can really do this because you're just not getting enough pawns, and you're just getting roasted on the dark squares. So I think you're just losing this as black, actually. All of a sudden white's king starts coming in. And then if bishop a3, bishop c1, there's no... So hard to find the zugzwang here to kind of allow our king to get in. So yeah, her position looked quite good. I don't know if she was ever like much better or anything, but she's definitely kind of always in the driver's seat. So this is the kind of game you do want as black, even if you don't win against a low-rated player. At least you want to be the one that was in control the whole time. And some games you'll break through and win, some games you won't. But in the long run, I think, you know, at least it's still quite reasonable. You know, the last thing you want to do, of course, is lose, which I think she has, you know, virtually zero chance here. Now, is there anything? Okay, so there is one way she can win. Yeah. So she's hoping for bishop d2, bishop a5. But white is gonna go bishop c1, bishop a5, bishop d2, not to get into this, because here black can actually do this. And even if bishop c1, I think you just take. And then b2 is coming. You win your bishop back, and then you're winning the king and pawn endgame. So there's still some tricks here for black, but bishop c1, you know, Ethan, he's on top of it. He's not falling for the zugzwang. So something like this, white's going here. So white's always needs to meet bishop a5 with bishop d2. But this is where it's like you miss one detail, and then all of a sudden it could be something. You know, you might win this endgame on the last ditch efforts, but I don't see how to force it. White has enough squares with the bishop e3, bishop c1, and then has to meet bishop a5 with bishop d2. So as long as white is always in time here, then should be all right. So I'm not seeing it for black. Not seeing it for black. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any ideas, but it doesn't look like we're able to break. Unfortunately, the bishop... I mean, if white wanted to, they could just go bishop d2, bishop a5, bishop e1. Actually, yeah, there's no zugzwang even. Bishop has an e1 square. So bishop d2, bishop e1. White can just go back and forth, and black isn't... Yeah, just doesn't have enough juice here to break through. So I think this one's going to be a draw. Folks, bishop b6. Definitely don't take here. Yeah, and I'm just, not seeing a breakthrough. So was it a mistake for black to trade rooks? That's a really good question. I mean, black already had tried to break through with the rooks on the board for many moves and wasn't able to do it. So at some point, like, if you can't break through with the rooks on the board, you might as well trade them off and see if you can break through without them. But yeah, maybe she would have had better chances to... I think the reason she traded those because white finally gave her a chance to play e5. Like, this whole time, white was always controlling the e5 break. Finally, white gives her the chance to trade and go e5. Right, which opens up her bishop. And then, you know, if this happened, then I think black has more chances because he gets e5, e4 in the future. But white decided to hold f4. F4 is actually a very interesting move because it really allows white to just kind of immediately build a fortress. So I think because she was allowed e5, she went for it, thinking like she's not going to get a better chance, and she's already tried to break through with the rooks for many moves and hasn't been able to do it. So you have to try something new. But maybe it still would have been better to, let's say, keep the rooks on, white goes bishop f4, and keep looking for chances to break here. But it's very hard because rook e2 comes, so you can't really move your king in. And yeah, I have a feeling that white was probably more or less okay. regardless. Okay, let's get back to live position. Okay, king e3. So here, king b5. Okay, just hoping like white blunders, but he moves the king. And I imagine they're probably going to agree relatively soon. Okay, folks, we're going to wrap up the commentary here because all the games are mostly done. I'm expecting a draw on this one. If you want to see the rest of the game, actually, we'll go ahead and raid Dina. And then hopefully, folks, I will see you back here for tonight's round. We're going to do round 5 starting around 6:30 p.m. So hopefully I'll see you back here on Dojo's channel. Okay, let's see if we can send a raid. Thank you, folks. Hopefully, yeah, you enjoyed the show. We'll be back all weekend. We'll be back all weekend. So I'll see you folks later today for the evening round. Gonna be a fun one. Alrighty, y'all. Thanks for watching. Take care.